Dear listeners, a quick content warning for this episode. This episode will include examples of psychological torture and trauma exhibited upon a character. It might become unsettling near the end. Just as a heads up, I did discuss what I planned in this episode with Shan beforehand. They were aware of some of the things that I had planned, including some of the trauma that would be inflicted upon their character. Listen at your discretion if at some point this starts to become uncomfortable for you. There's absolutely no shame in skipping ahead to the next episode, because the next episode will be the rescue of Stavias. This is just a look at what happened before they were found. We are big believers in safety tools here at Pseudonym Social. That goes for you, the listeners, as well as the players. What's important is you having a good time and enjoying the story. If you need to skip, that's okay. We love you anyway. Today on aboard the Opal Star, we are going to take a step back in time. Back to the last time we saw Stavias. As the crew was getting ready to pull off the ghost ship gambit, everyone chose different places to lay in wait for the pirates to board the ship, and you were the only one who decided to go upstairs to the third floor. Because that's where your stuff is, and you don't want anyone messing with your stuff, especially after last time.
Yeah, I can't. That's all I have. It's literally all I have to my name. I can't let anybody take it. Not again.
At first, there's just one person that comes your way, and you handle them pretty easily, but not before they're able to send off a message. Before they could send off some kind of signal. And then more came, and it was more than you could handle. And they seemed oddly prepared to be dealing with someone with your specific abilities. And you get a message from Mrs. Yellow, but it comes too late, warning you that your father's found you, and there's a price on your head.
Okay.
You try and reach out to Nell for help because you know that Nell is recording and watching everything that's going on. But she doesn't answer. It's almost like she can't hear you, can't see you. Something is blocking her. As all of this is going on and you're starting to realize how alone and outnumbered you are, what do you do?
Well, so I don't know who these people are.
The only thing you know for sure is they seem to be after you.
I think I'm trying not to lose my cool. I'm trying not to show... Like, as this is happening, I'm fighting back, I'm struggling. But I'm also not... I'm trying not to give whoever this is, because I know who it is. But just in case they're watching, just in case... I'm showing that I'm not breaking my resolve for them. Because you know me, I'm going to be this rebellious little asshole as long as I possibly can. So I don't stop struggling, I don't stop fighting, and I keep my mind as clear as I can, but I'm also secretly hoping that Anima or somebody is going to come through the door and find me and save me. Because I don't want to go back to wherever they're about to take me.
You keep fighting, and no one comes. And eventually you are rendered unconscious. The whole world goes dark and silent for a while, and then Eventually, you start to wake back up and roll me a perception check.
I got a 7.
You struggle to wake up. You're groggy as you start to look around and you're trying to find anything of note to signify where you are, and you just see that you are in this nondescript room. You are bound to a chair and you have some sort of collar around your neck. You're familiar with it because working in the legal field for as short of a time as you did, people were required, if they had psychic abilities like yours, to wear these sort of psychic dampeners, because if you're in a courtroom, they don't want you to be able to read people's minds. That's not exactly fair. This one's different, though. It feels like it is stabbing into your brain as you even try and think about using your abilities.
I think just because I'm so groggy and I'm so dazed, my first instinct is to try and just use push to get everything off of me. But then I realize that nothing's happening. Am I like fully strapped, like full body strapped down? Like I can't move my arms and legs and stuff?
You can't move your arms, you can't move your legs. You can kind of move your head, but every time you do, you get this stabbing headache that you don't know if it's from the knockout drugs or from the dampener.
In this like kind of groggy way, I'm just like, all right, you've made your point. Do we have to do this whole song and dance? Can't we just talk or something? Was this necessary?
You hear this voice echoing from the speakers that you can't see in the room. Necessary or not, it's what the client paid for, and we're just doing as instructed.
I'm gonna do a little bit of last-ditch deception. You know, whatever my dad's paying you, I can pay you much more.
Roll for deception.
That's a 19.
The voice replies, "Well, that's interesting. Your dad says you haven't really gone anywhere since you ran off."
What does my dad know? I haven't spoken to him in eons at this point.
In my limited experience, your dad has a really good habit of knowing everything he needs to know or wants to know. And personally, he's not someone I'm willing to cross.
I've got friends you wouldn't want to cross either.
That would sound more threatening, but they don't know where you are.
I mean, that's what you think.
I know for a fact they don't.
You think you know that?
The person just laughs. It's a little hard to be persuasive when you can't actually see who you're talking to.
Yeah, half of my charm is my good looks.
Well, I just wanted to make sure you know that this isn't personal.
You know, people only say that when it's incredibly personal. Whatever you're planning to do, it's going to, like, hurt me. So let's not lie to each other. This is very personal. You're just the weapon to my dad's very personal attack.
Allow me to clarify. This isn't personal to me. I honestly don't care what happens to you. I was just paid to grab you up and plug you into the program.
Program?
Now, if you're able to wire me a substantial amount of money, I might be willing to put a sort of escape hatch into this program. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in there for a while.
Well, obviously I can't wire you something right now, but I can give you the name of someone to talk to.
As you're thinking about the word program and the fact that this person mentioned plugging you into one, give me another perception check.
Okay, that's a 14.
you get a better look at the chair that you're in. You've done a couple of sim dives in your time. A lot of people will do them just for fun. Some people use sims for job training. You've probably done a mix of both. You recognize that you are in a sim dive chair, but this one's a little different. It looks like it's been modified. You can't really tell what for, but you can tell that it's been modified, and given the situation, you can guess this is going to be a little bit more intense than you're used to.
I think I sort of steel myself because it's just like, this is, if it's a sim dive, it's like you said, I've done these before, and you can always tell that it's a sim dive. So in my mind right now, I'm going to do my best to stay as connected to what reality is as I possibly can. And that's what I'm telling myself as this is all going on.
You brace yourself, hoping that this person is going to be willing to take your offer. And after a couple of minutes of silence, they say, "Well, that does sound tempting. It could also be a really good ploy for you to send an alert out to your friends, and I'd just really rather not risk getting on your dad's bad side. I do have to consider the maintenance of my professional reputation, and I can't just go about letting people go just because they ask nicely. I'm sorry, I have to do what I was paid to do, and I promise, once again, this isn't personal."
I really wish you'd stop saying that personal bit, because I think we've established... I just want you to know, the people that are most likely on their way to whatever backwater, weird little spaceship or space station or wherever the hell we are, they may not be like my best friends, but we're certainly on our way there. So, if you do something terrible to me, I can't promise your safety. But you know what? You're not going to listen to me anyways, so do your worst. Do your worst.
I think I'll take my chances up against your friends who let me steal you off of their ship versus pissing off your father. I mean, I've got a job to do.
Okay, if I make it out of this, if I survive this, I'm going to make it my mission to hunt you down and put an end to your business. And if that means I have to destroy your mind with my very potent psychic abilities, I will do it. So just keep that in mind as you're gallivanting off into the shadows of space.
You know what? You survive this? Go for it. Wish you the best of luck. And with that, the sim dive apparatus lowers over your head, and you have no way of fighting back as you are put into the simulation. But what do you do? What do you try and do to prepare yourself for whatever the simulation is going to do to you?
I try to start this chant of just like, whatever's about to happen is not real. Whatever's about to happen is not real. It's not real. It's not real. I'm just repeating that because whatever this is, however this was fixed, as long as I know in a deep part of myself that it's not real, I'm going to be okay. That's what I'm thinking in my head.
You hold on to the knowledge that whatever's about to happen isn't real. As things come back into focus around you, you find yourself in the dining hall of one of your father's buildings that his company works in. This was back when you were still working in the legal team, still being vetted and being raised to take your part within the company.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I don't know if you were fully committed to the idea of being what he wanted you to be, but you're playing along.
Yeah, I kind of resigned to the fact that this was my life, maybe.
Yeah, you may not be happy here, per se, but this is before you got to the point where you said screw this and went to do your own thing. Before things got real bad. You walk in and you see there's a new person working in the dining area. This isn't something that normally would have caught your attention, but you see a couple of your coworkers. They probably work in a different department, but you've crossed paths with them. And they seem to be, for some reason, they're hassling the new guy.
Okay.
What do you do?
Okay. Yeah, I think I take my food and I go over and I say, oh, are we bullying somebody? Tell me how we're bullying them. I want to join.
The person you're talking to turns to you and says, this person can't understand a word that we're saying. How do you get a job for this company and not speak common?
Now that I'm like over here, what does person look like?
Give me a perception check, or if you want, you can do an insight check as you check out the new guy.
I'm going to do insight instead. Okay, there we go. 18.
You've already pegged that they're new here, and not just because they're not familiar to you, but something on their body language says they're not particularly comfortable. And it's not just that they're uncomfortable because they know they're being bullied and hassled. It feels like they're uncomfortable being in a place this nice. They're trying to make a good impression. They're nervous, but they're trying to play it off like they're confident and they know what they're doing. You would imagine they aren't often brought out to serve so much as they usually tend to work in the back.
I have a question about the simulation.
Yeah?
At this point, am I aware that I'm in a simulation, or did something happen and I'm no longer aware?
Give me an intelligence check to see if you figured it out.
15.
You don't realize you're in a simulation. Your brain recognizes this as a memory. You remember this happening, and so far, this is how it happened.
Okay. So I feel like then I'm just making sure that like going along with it makes sense. So I think I look at that person. I know 4 languages other than common.
Also, he's Eldori. He would know Nasiv. These guys would know Nasiv. They're just being jerks.
I give them each a look, and then I say in Nasiv, I'm sorry for these chuckle fucks. They're losers who are way too insecure about the fact that they're not going to go anywhere beyond the station that they're currently at. And then I hold out my hand.
What if the guy starts to act really offended and it's like he's about to challenge you? Who do you think you are? And the other guy just pulls him back and stops him like, no.
And then I look over at the person and I say, you should really listen to your friend. And then I kind of flash. I assume I have like an ID card.
Sure.
I flash my ID card at them.
The guy who wanted to start something goes a little pale when he sees your badge, and they both try and be really nonchalant and casual about, oh, we need to go. My team is over there. They're waiting for us.
As they're getting dragged away, I say, oh, and you might just keep a look at your calendars. You may end up getting some sort of disciplinary meeting. Just, I don't know. It's just, it might be something that is there in your future. And then I turn back to the person.
He makes eye contact with you and smiles sheepishly. Thank you for that. I've been trying to learn Common, but it's challenging. I hope you don't get into any trouble.
People are going to cause trouble no matter what. It's fine. It was honestly the most interesting thing that's happened to me in however long I've been working here.
He nods and points to your plate. Would you like anything?
No, I've got my food.
Okay, well, thank you.
I'm Stavias, by the way.
Fulminara. It's nice to meet you.
Likewise.
I really am grateful to have this job and to be working for such a prestigious company.
Well, at least one of us is. And then kind of give a nod and then walk away. I do like a very sneaky look back as I go and take my seat.
He looks a little happier, a little more content, a little less alone. He's one of the few people that's nice to you, and not just because of who your dad is. He's nice to you and he's friendly towards you because you were friendly towards him. And you see him in passing here and there after them, but I think the next big memory we have is you run into him in a corner of the library, because of course this facility has a library, but there's one corner that not a lot of people go in, and it's for language learning. And you find him in there, surrounded by books, trying to teach himself Common.
So I think I see him with a sort of Common phonics book or something. And I sit down in front and I kind of put my hand over the book and I'm just the one thing that I learned about Common when I was learning is that it's nearly impossible for you to teach yourself.
He jumps slightly as you do this because he didn't expect any company. He didn't hear you approaching. This is like a corner of library no one goes into, and you startled him.
Sorry. I'm a language person. I know, I'm fluent in 4 of them, and I could always learn more. So I'm always just back here. I usually never see anybody else back here. Most people here, they know the languages they need to know, and then they, piss off somewhere else.
Yeah, I've been coming here whenever I get the chance to try and teach myself, but none of this makes sense.
Well, when you really get down to it, Common doesn't really make sense. It's this kind of galactic language that is made up of tons of other languages smashed together, all Frankenstein. Frankenstein. Whatever the closest equivalent to...
We can say Frankenstein exists.
It's all sort of Frankenstein together into this. So you can't, knowing Nasiv is really great because it lends itself to Common really well, but then there are also words that come from languages older than Nasiv, or newer languages from Nasiv. It's a whole thing. If you need... I have an ear for languages. If you need help, I could definitely help. I don't have anything better to do. I'm basically, eye candy at the law offices.
I'm sure you're much more than that.
I could be.
And he blushes a little. You notice there's no denial of the fact that you're eye candy.
I could be. But as far as they're concerned, I am here purely by nepotism, which I guess I am, but I feel like nepotism gives you some kind of freedom, whereas I'm more here so that my dad can always have eyes on me. In this moment, can I try and make another intelligence saving throw to see if I can, like, see through the memories and remember that this is, like, fake?
Go for it. Let's see what you get.
Okay. 14. It's not better than the last one, so yeah.
The simulation still has a hold on you, and so far your brain has no reason to doubt what's going on. Fulminara looks at you and says, "If you could choose, what would you want to be?"
That's a big question. I think if I had a choice, I'd leave. I'd go to the stars, I'd go to other planets. I've always had this idea that I'd be kind of like those, like, old school space exploration vessels. They would always have this, like, person that was always I think they're like diplomats. I really want to be like a diplomat on an exploratory vessel that's just going out into space and meeting all these different kinds of new people and just talking with them and learning with them and understanding their politics. And because it's not that I hate, like, I love some of this work. I just hate what I'm doing it for.
That does sound pretty amazing, and I think you would be good at it. If you don't mind me asking, what's stopping you from doing that? And you can tell there's genuine curiosity in how he's asking this.
I mean, that is the question. It's not like I haven't tried. It's more that I have obligations. Obligations that I've had since before I was born. And probably obligations I'll have long after I'm dead. To just be here. To be next to my father. Be under my father. To make sure that there's always a guarantee that this whole enterprise keeps going. Because if I go, that's it. At least that's what my dad says. Not says, like yells.
That sounds so unfair to you.
It's not. But life isn't about being fair. Life is about dealing with the cards you're dealt.
He goes quiet for a minute as he thinks about that. And then he says, "I've been to a lot of places. I've traveled a lot. If you teach me Common, maybe I can tell you about some of the places I've been."
I don't totally believe him when he says it, especially that second part. So I just kind of tilt my head, I smirk, I pretend to mull it over in this really overdramatic way. And then I say, "No, what the hell, I've got nothing to lose." Well, I mean, do I have something to lose? No, I'm sure it's fine. So, I guess turn your book to page 1. Let's talk about the basics.
So you start meeting regularly with Fulminara. Sometimes you meet in the library, other times you meet in other private places, and you start teaching him Common. And he is a fast learner. He picks it up quickly. You're kind of proud, kind of impressed. And in exchange, he tells you about all the different places that he's been, and you start to become friends almost.
Yeah. I think sometime, maybe so after we've been talking for a while and after I've kind of unloaded everything about me onto him, I kind of just look up from, because I think I'm working on like writing out like legal documents and depositions one day while he's working on like a worksheet. Busy work that teachers have to give their students. And I'm just like, so what about you?
He just looks up at you, confused. He wasn't expecting you to start this conversation in the middle of the library.
So I know your name. I know that you work in the cafeteria. I know you've been to way more places than I've ever been to.
That's not hard.
Okay, well, whatever. But I don't think I know anything else about you, and I feel like you know everything about me. Why is that?
I guess I'm not really in the habit of talking about myself. Working here, I'm more used to just being in the background. No one paying much attention or caring to know about me.
Well, I would say you're decidedly not in the background, at least in my eyes, so I guess I'm not gonna say that I want you to tell me everything, because I think that's kind of invasive. But I do want you to tell me what you think you can, if that makes sense.
What do you want to know?
Are you from here?
I'm from a place like this, but my home is pretty far away. Haven't been here long.
Okay. What are you doing here?
I worked a handful of odd jobs after leaving home, and I always wanted to work in food, cook food for people, and took the opportunity here. It didn't exactly turn out quite like I expected, but the money was kind of hard to turn down.
Do you have a family?
Yeah, I've got my mom and my other mom. I've got 2 younger sisters. Things got a little crowded in that house. I love them, but they fight over some of the silliest things.
I mean, my parents fight all the time. I guess the things they fight over are silly. They do not fight in a silly way. And I've never had siblings, so sounds nice.
Yeah, it is pretty nice.
Are they here with you?
No, they're back home. I get to talk to them somewhat regularly, and I send them back money. I miss them, though.
Where are you from? Like, where?
Roll persuasion, and I'll let you roll with advantage, because you're asking nicely.
I don't need it. I got a 25.
Roll it again, see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, 2 25s. Rad. This is, and also just for everybody listening at home, this is the best that I have ever rolled since I started playing this game.
It really is.
Yeah, like every other time that I've played, I maybe get one good roll per session, and then I ruin everything else.
Like the time you accidentally got everyone directly involved in crime.
Yeah, good times.
He starts telling you about where he's from. It's a planet that's mostly, almost entirely other Eldori. Sounds kind of remote, isolated, and as he's talking about it, he's feels like he doesn't talk about this a lot. And roll intelligence.
Not that smart. But I'm smart enough. 18.
You're familiar with all of the primarily Eldori planets. You've been to, or at least heard of all of them through your work with your dad's company. And the planet that he's describing sounds like it would be primarily Eldori, but when he says the name, you don't recognize it. It doesn't sound like any place you've heard of, any place you've been to before. It is unfamiliar.
What does he look like right now after having said that to me? Can I do an insight check to just get a sense of how he's feeling having revealed that?
Go for it.
Okay, 13.
He seemed very comfortable and casual as he was saying it, but as he starts to realize what all he said, the name that he said, there's a change in his mental and emotional state. You can see it on his face, but I don't think you can quite figure out exactly what's going on. You can just tell he's starting to close himself off again.
I think I put my hand on his hand, and I'm like, you don't have to say anymore. And I don't even know what that planet is, so I don't know why I'd tell anybody about it.
He gives you a grateful smile, and you can see it in his eyes that he believes you, and he starts to relax and goes back to his work, but I think he leaves his hand where it is.
Yeah. I go through the rest of the evening as if that wasn't an earth-shattering revelation.
Trying to play it cool while internally screaming a little bit.
Yeah. It's just ooh.
And I think after that, the two of you really start to become friends and start to become closer, and that might be when you start spending more time with him outside of the library.
Oh yeah, it gets to a point. I think eventually I start getting a little too confident. I'll literally just in the cafeteria just go and just spend my time standing up there talking to Fulminara. I start inviting him out to places, not super public spaces where people like my dad would notice, but we'll go on. I'll invite him on walks. I'll invite him to sit with me in places that aren't in the back corner of a section of a building that no one else ever goes to. I think it's just, this is the first time that I felt genuinely emotionally close to somebody that's not my mom. So I start not even caring what the rest of the world is looking at.
I think your dad, while he isn't exactly thrilled, he doesn't particularly care, because you're still performing the role and the duties that he expects you to. He doesn't care. He probably thinks it's just a phase, but so long as it doesn't affect your work or have an adverse effect on your family's reputation. Honestly, he's so busy with company stuff, I don't even know if he particularly notices. I am curious, though. What do you tell your mom? Does she know about this relationship and how serious it is? I know you definitely don't tell your dad anything about this, but what about your mom?
Oh yeah, I tell my mom everything.
She is absolutely thrilled for you, so happy you found someone. And I think she also loves Fulminar, insists on meeting them, and roll me another insight check as you watch how they interact.
19.
Watching the way they interact, especially as your mom gets to know Fulminara better, they seem to have a kinship or found a kindred spirit in each other. And from what you can tell, they seem to be bonding over something in Fulminara's past of being how he is separated from his family.
I think I'd bring it up. You both almost seem like not like they know each other, but like they understand each other in a very specific way. And I'm just like, what's going on? What don't I know? Because I'm not used to not knowing everything in the room.
Growing up, your mom told you stories of how she grew up somewhere very different from here and then came into this space. And she explains to you that I know what it's like to have to leave your home behind for a place that's very different and unfamiliar. I have no regrets. It's just not many others get it in the way that we do, and I know how hard that can be.
Okay, that makes sense. Are you able to go home?
I can. It's a bit of a long journey, and whenever I do go home, it might be a while before I can come back. But yes, I can go home.
Well, if you do, I'd like to visit.
I'd like that too. Maybe one day we can make that happen. You get the feeling that he wasn't expecting to talk to you about this, but he seems almost relieved that the conversation has gone as well as it has.
Could I do a quick, I don't know, I guess maybe investigation check to see, like, in between this time, maybe I've tried to look into the planet?
Sure.
Oh, that's a 5. Never mind.
You aren't able to really find anything on the planet name, and it could just be the case from the way Fulminara described it. It could just be so remote that there aren't any records of it. But between this and little context clues, habits you've noticed of theirs and their speech pattern, that you've noticed it over time. It's nothing that'd be immediately obvious, but there's just something different. It's like there's something they're not telling you.
You know you can tell me anything, right? Like, I feel like, I hope that I've at least kind of let you know that. You can tell me anything.
I imagine this conversation is happening when you're off campus, not near your father's company building. You're sat somewhere quiet, private, staring up at the stars.
I feel like at this point, I don't know, I think I trust you more than I trust anybody else, and I hope you feel the same way about me.
I do trust you. I really do.
So what?
It might be easier to just show you than try and explain, he says. You could tell he's scared. He's worried about what's going to happen, but he's choosing to trust you, and he reaches up and touches one of the earrings that he's wearing, and his skin changes hue.
Oh.
And you realize he's not Eldori, he's Lorendi.
You know, I think the red looks better on you than the blue, if I'm being honest.
You're okay with the fact that I'm Lorendi?
I don't care.
I wasn't supposed to show anyone, but I couldn't keep not telling you. I couldn't have you not know.
Well, I'm surprised. Kind of. I mean, in retrospect, a lot of stuff makes sense. But, I don't know. I never really believed the stories. And seeing you and knowing the time that we've spent together, it just kind of confirms to me that that's just what they are, stories. I don't care.
You may not know this, but my people have been in talks with your alliance for a little while now. I was sent here along with some others to just get a lay of the land. None of the others are here. It's just me here. The reason they sent us is because My people are curious. It's been so long since we've had a connection to the Eldori or anyone else in this space. We wanted to start building connections, try and learn how things are different, how things have changed, and how we can better reconnect. Because I know that there's stories and it's not going to be easy, but I'm hoping one day we can find a way to be friends again. I came here to learn more about the Eldori, and it's not gone exactly like I expected, but I'm still hopeful.
Well, I'm glad about that. And, I can't speak for the entire Alliance. But I don't know. You've kind of brought out the optimist in me. So, I don't know. The Alliance is supposed to be about, uniting space, creating a home in the galaxy. You're part of the galaxy, so I don't see why it would be a problem. But I also won't tell anybody.
Thank you.
And also, I love you.
He pauses and just stares at you for a second, contemplating what you just said. And then he goes to kiss you. And after that day, there are no more secrets between you. It's not long before he tells you that he loves you too. And for a while, you're happy. This is a secret that you keep from everyone, except for your mom, of course. But you're so happy, and it's perfect until it's not. You're not entirely sure what happened. But long story short, someone got caught trying to do something and tried to use Fulminara as a scapegoat because somehow they figured out that he's Lorendi. He assures you, I have a way out, I need to leave quickly and I need to go now. I'm so sorry, I'll let you know when I'm somewhere safe.
Just let me go with you. I don't get why I have to stay here. What, my dad? What's my dad gonna do? We're gonna be gone, so let's be gone together.
Are you sure you want to leave everything behind?
I've never been more sure of anything, because there's none of that compares to this.
If you're sure, then yeah, you can come with me. But we need to hurry, though.
I don't even pack a bag. I'm just like, let's go.
So the two of you start running. You make your way out through the secret parts of the compound that only you know about. And it's not long before security is searching for you, and eventually it gets to the point where, Stavias, you realize there's no way both of you are going to be able to make it out.
I turn to him and I say, I'm going to make sure that they don't catch up. You really need to go.
I know. I just wish there was a way you could be with me. I don't want to leave you.
Ditto. Please, just go. Run, now.
He pulls you in for one last kiss, tells you he loves you, and then he runs away. And as you turn to face the guards, you never hear the gunshot. But everything goes dark, and then as the world comes back into focus, you're once again in the cafeteria, and things happen exactly as they did the first time. And as you sit down to eat, roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Hey, 18, baby!
You get this uncomfortable sensation in your stomach, like heartburn mixed with a little nausea, and you keep eating and you're able to push past it. And as you're eating, Fulminara passes by and sets a glass of water next to you. And it's as you drink the water that things take a turn. Your insides feel like they are on fire. You can't breathe, the world starts to swim around you. You fall to the ground and people gather around you concerned, and as you're starting to very slowly die, you see Fulminara in the distance, smiling at you. And then the world goes dark, and you find yourself once again entering the cafeteria.
Oh no. I've been watching so much Hunger Games. I'm being hijacked. Hijacked by my father.
Basically. And you keep living through these memories. Each time you die in a different way. Sometimes the deaths are so quick you barely notice it. Other times it takes so long. Each death is a different method happening at a different time, and each time you die, the world goes dark. And then you go back to the beginning and live through it all again and again, dying each time.
Am I always aware that it's Fulminara that did it?
Sometimes you don't see it coming, but you always know that it's him.
Okay.
As you're stuck in this loop, sometimes in the moments between, you're able to think, and I'm not going to make you roll an intelligence throw for this. You're able to figure out why you think this is happening to you. You aren't able to become aware enough to break out of it, but in those in-between moments, you realize why your father chose this specific punishment for you. Because it is a punishment. After you did what you did for Fulminara, you went on to go out of your way to make yourself a problem for him. And while he didn't care about what you did with Fulminara before, this bothered him. You made his life difficult, so he decided he was going to make you regret it. This was designed to make you regret trusting Fulminara, to make you regret choosing Fulminara over your loyalty to him. And you realize the only way to get out of this simulation is you have to kill Fulminara before he kills you. That is how your father wants to break you, to make you kill the person you love most in the world.
I'll never regret it. There's nothing that can be done that would ever make me think that anything that I did that night or that I've done since is something to be ashamed of or to regret, because the moment that I was able to make sure that Fulminara got out, that was truly the second happiest point in my life after we said I love you for the first time.
You refuse to give in, you refuse to break, you refuse to let your father win, you refuse to become the monster that he thinks you should be. And you go through the simulation again and again and again. Every time you die at Fulminara's hand, yet you refuse to give up. And somewhere near your last sleeps, you don't know they're your last sleeps, but somewhere near the end, you hear a voice in the in-between. An unfamiliar voice saying, "I don't know who you are and I don't know what's going on in there, but I wanted to let you know help is coming. We'll get you out soon."
Okay.
And those words are echoing through your head as you once again find yourself in the cafeteria. And this time, you die in an explosion. And it all starts over again.